Before the Memphis Grizzlies became the national media's punching bag, they were the darlings of the NBA. And before they became the team NBA fans love to hate, they were admired for their culture, drafting, and player development. Say what you will about Dillon Brooks, this was a man who was drafted in the 40s and is now one of the best defenders in the NBA and a $15 million a year player, at least. The same can be said about a number of other Grizzlies players. Desmond Bane and Santi Aldama were the last picks of the first round in back-to-back drafts. Both are important rotation pieces, with Bane one of the best guards in the NBA. Xavier Tillman Sr. was a second-round pick and is one of the best backup bigs in the league. Last year saw the Grizz draft David Roddy and 300-pound beast Kenny Lofton Jr. Roddy, who was drafted late in the first round as well, is showing potential as a 3-and-D player. Lofton went undrafted before signing a two-way contract and has already been converted to the main roster. And oh yeah, he had a 40-point game in the regular season. So if you're keeping count, that is 6 steals the Grizzlies were able to find in the late first round, second round, or the undrafted pool. And with the 2023 NBA draft set to happen in just a couple of weeks, there's a good chance it can happen again. That's the subject of today's video. I'm looking at where the Grizzlies will be picking in the upcoming draft and giving you some players the team should be looking at. Be sure to drop a like and hit subscribe for some of the best basketball content you're going to find anywhere. The Grizzlies have 3 picks in this draft, number 25 in the first round and 2 second-round picks. For today's video, I'm only going to focus on that number 25 pick. Thanks to NBADraftRoom.com and The Ringer for some of the scouting reports you're about to hear. First up is Colby Jones, a 6'6 wing. He's a junior from Xavier. He's got a soft touch on layups, floaters, and post hooks. Though his shooting numbers have been slow to develop, these are positive indicators of improvement. He's ready to contribute attacking closeouts. He rumbles toward the rim off handoffs, and he's good in the pick and roll. He's an intelligent player who plays within a team concept, always keeping the ball moving, gets himself in the right spots to get open, and cuts to the basket. He's a pretty good ball handler who does a good job of using his big frame to create space and go through contact. He's not what you would call an elite athlete, but he's able to make do. He's also a sound playmaker, and he's good slinging the ball around with either hand. As far as defense, he is relentless, always giving 100%. He's good at fighting through screens, he'll chase down every rebounding opportunity, and he's not backing down from any physical play. The big thing with Colby is that his jumper isn't totally reliable at this stage. He's unproven as a spot-up shooter, and he made just under 70% of his free throw attempts during his 3-year college career. Add to that, he only made 30% of his threes during his first 2 seasons. So I think there's still room to develop for his jumper. I think all in all, this pick might be a little too safe for me, but if the Grizzlies are looking for a guy who can likely come in and at least give you 10 to 15 minutes, then you can't do much worse than Colby Jones. Next up is Ben Sheppard. He's a 6'6 wing, played at Belmont, and he is a senior. Now, Ben developed into a dominant shooter. He made over 40% of his catch-and-shoot threes as a senior, many of them contested because he was the defense's focus each game. He's also excelled at coming off screens and sprinting in transition. He's good at reading the defense. He's capable of pulling up, both in the mid-range and at the 3. He grew up playing point guard and then had a late growth spurt, so he is pretty good as a playmaker as well. He can make nice bounce passes, get teammates involved when they're running up the floor or on the break. He can be trusted to make good reads with the ball, and he has creativity with his passes as well. He's also a solid on-ball defender. He's always playing hard. He especially showed that at the NBA Draft Combine. He's also an active on-ball defender who's usually in the right spot, and he can jump the passing lanes for steals and deflections. Again, big thing with Ben Sheppard is his shooting. He only made about 70% of his free throws in his 4 years in college, and under 35% of his threes his first 3 years at Belmont. But this year, he has looked like a knockdown guy. He carried that over into the Draft Combine, where he really made a name for himself. I feel like Shepard would be a good pick if the Grizz are planning to move off of Luke Kennard, because I think their skills duplicate each other a lot. So maybe you get a little lesser version of Kennard, but at a better rookie contract value. Next up is Olivier-maxence Prosper. O-Max is a 6'8" forward from Marquette by way of Montreal. Prosper is a do-it-all forward and energy guy who is very efficient with his touches, and he's also starting to show an expanded offensive game. He's got an NBA frame, he's got good athleticism, and he's got all the tools to make it to the next level. He doesn't project as a first or second option on offense. That's okay, though, because the Grizz don't need that from him. They just need him to be what he is, and that's a glue guy who puts in a lot of work, setting screens, puts in work on the boards, and plays solid defense. He has shown improvement also as a three-point shooter, and that's going to be his major skill for making it to the league. He's going to have to develop his overall ball skills, and he'll have to cut down on turnovers, as well as developing as a better passer and guy who can keep moving the ball. But I think O-Max has just scratched the surface of the type of player he can be. We could look up in a couple of years and say, this guy is kind of on that track to be another OG Anunoby. And finally, Hayden Hawkins Jr. is a 6'7" wing from UCLA, played 4 years there, and he is a multi-talented player who does it all on the court, and he makes winning plays. He's talented as a scorer, he gets his own shot off in ISO situations, he's got the size for the NBA game, and his shooting from outside is also improving. I think he can get better as well. He's great at using ball fakes, he's great at drawing fouls, really has a high basketball IQ when he's out there on the floor. Really a hard-nosed player too, loves to mix it up, he's physical, he has that strong frame, holds his own on defense and in the paint, and he's not afraid to mix it up inside. He's not a big-time run-jump athlete, but I think his athleticism is better than a lot of folks give him credit for. So I don't think that's going to hold him back from being a good player in the NBA. He's got a great feel for the game, and he's always in the right place at the right time. All in all, this guy just has lots of tricks for getting open and getting his shot. He does need to improve his free throw shooting, but he has a nice stroke, so I think there's every reason to believe he will get there. I see him as the 2023 version of Shane Battier. So overall, this is my pick for who the Grizzlies need to get at number 25. Guys, make sure you let me know in the comments who you want Memphis to draft with that 25th pick. And while you're at it, let me know who you want them to take with their 2 picks in the second round too. And while you're here, be sure to drop a like on this video and hit subscribe. This channel is blowing up, and I want to keep it that way. Thanks so much for watching. This is Troy with Half Court Report, and I'll see you next time.